Doctor/therapist of Reddit, do you have any no, that's not normal stories? If so, what abnormal habit/oddity did the patient have thinking it was normal? I had a patient with a cut in his mouth casually say, you know, when you're chewing on some glass and I had to stop him and ask for clarification. Apparently after he finished a bottle of beer he would just bite into it. He said he liked the feeling of chewing on the glass. Nice guy though. To address a request for more context. I was a paramedic student doing a clinical rotation and the guy comes in complaining of bleeding more than usual. I don't know if it was a pica thing, but he did admit to frequent and recent prior meth use. Took me until 16 to finally realize having a swollen and tangled vas deferens on my left testicle wasn't normal. It's called /*varicocele/ and it affects about 15% of males. It's caused by poor blood flow and there's only excess blood in the veins leading up to it. Luckily the only downsides are a bit of an ache and a 15% smaller left testy. His intestinal obstruction was caused by worms. When asked after surgery if he'd seen any worms in his stool, he replied, only the normal amount. One time I was talking to a doctor during a routine checkup. He asked about sleep disturbance, and I said I was sleeping fine, though occasionally just as I was dozing off I would hear a loud bang or a scream or some other sudden noise that would wake me back up. He asked if I experienced any other sensory disturbances, and I said sometimes I would smell words. Long story short, it turns out a meningitis infection when I was a child left me with mild brain damage. Patient here. I was very young when I had my first period. Single digits. They were okay till I hit 10 and had 100+ days period. That was super heavy, like 4 to 6 pads an hour. Went to the gyno and was told it was normal for women to have this happen. 20 years later still getting the 100+ days periods. I find out it's PCOS with a dab of endo. Not a doctor, but one of my classmates in college casually let this out in a discussion that she didn't get glasses for years as she thought everyone has blurry vision and it was normal. I have loose shoulders. I can pop them in and out of their sockets with no effort. Sometimes it's more effort to keep them popped in. I found out this wasn't normal in my high school health class when we were learning the dangers of drinking and using drunk goggles to simulate how alcohol affects your vision. We all got handcuffed after, and I was able to slip my arms in front of me with no issue. I didn't know people just fell asleep. It's always been a struggle for me, like it takes me 3+ hours to sleep even with sleep aids. I wake up 5+ times a night, every night, and then struggle to sleep again. Told my psychiatrist and turns out I have insomnia and restless leg syndrome. Was kinda surprised about the legs, but I always move them, and the sleep study I took showed almost constant leg movement. I'm not a doctor or a therapist, but I had a moment like this about my own life. I didn't know I was allergic to kiwis until I was about 17. I was having a conversation with someone and brought up the fact that kiwis make your throat close a little when you eat them, and they looked at me like I was crazy. I had to ask a few more people before believing that I was actually allergic. I was a patient in this. I have gotten stung an abnormally large amount of times from bees as kids. Every time the spot would swell up and double the size, i.e. if I got stung on my hand, my whole hand would double in size. It would be red and hurt for like a week, and then become super itchy for another week, in total lasting about 2 weeks. I thought this was normal, and what happened when everyone got stung? Even when I went to see an allergist and they told me I was allergic, I still thought it was normal for bee stings to be like that. It wasn't until my friend told me that when she gets stung it looks like a mosquito bite and goes away in 2 days that I realized my reactions are a little extreme. Apparently getting hives when you're cold and almost going into anaphylactic shock isn't normal. cold urticaria in Canada is a reffin' bummer. If you have this condition, like I do, join the subreddit, they can help you. Do research line I did to see if you have the severe or common type. Figure out who else in your family shows signs and symptoms. It's hereditary in the common version, but sometimes the severe one manifests itself. I'm the patient. All my life I thought I had really good hearing and could hear the electricity in the walls. Well, I stated hearing and seeing other shit too, and am apparently likely schizoaffective according to my psychiatrist. Not the doctor, but after I had a UTI I was given antibiotics and was complaining to my housemate who was a med student how awful they made me feel, and I couldn't wait to be off them. She told me antibiotics are supposed to make you feel better, and from what I described I must be allergic to them. I was really surprised, because I thought allergies meant you broke out in hives or something like that. Visibly I was fine, I just had this feeling like my skin was rotting off, even though my skin looked normal. A few years later I was accidentally given the antibiotic I was supposed to be allergic to, and had no reaction, so I'm not sure what happened there. My half-siblings both have porphyria, so I wonder if it's related somehow. I thought it was normal to be able to push my thumbs out of the sockets. Might not be correct wording, but that's the gist of it. A girl I worked with once told no less than 8 people that she likes the burning sensation she got after having sex with her boyfriend. Everyone instantly cringed. I always have had trouble breathing during exercise, but my mom said I was just lazy and called me the family couch potato. I always had cough that would linger for months after a cold or flu, so in general I coughed all winter. My mom called it a winter cough and didn't worry about it. My college roommate was worried about my cough and recommended I go to the doctor. I was like, oh no, it's just a winter cough. She was like, that is not a thing. Yeah, turns out I have permanently damaged lungs from years of untreated asthma and pneumonia. I can lock my jaw open in a weird dislocation type of way, it doesn't hurt or anything. During a cleaning at the dentist I locked it open, so it would be easier for the both of us. My dentist had a total freak out and pulled like 3 other people into the room to show them. I always thought everyone could do it, but I guess not. I'm a doctor. A guy came in complaining about constipation and back pain. His main complaint was constipation as his back has been hurting for years, but it's gotten so bad he can't get out of bed anymore and seldom eats. I get a bad feeling and order up some lab work. It comes back, and it's like good with a few hiccups but nothing unusual for a man in his age, who hasn't been to a checkup in a year. Bad feeling persists, and I order a full body scan on him despite having no actual evidence of anything. And it's cancer. Every single bone in his spine was full of tumors. I'm the patient, but I used to think we sucked at walking as a society. Seems like everyone was walking into each other and not paying attention. Nope. Turns out I was losing my peripheral vision, and it was just me running into people like a jackass. Not a doctor but a nurse. Mother brought toddler in for distended belly. Asked several questions, including how toddler was eating, if she'd eaten anything different. She mentioned the toddler ate paper, string, hair, etc. often. Mom was truly surprised all toddlers don't do this. Thankfully there was no blockage and the distension was benign. Doctor referred mom to see their pediatrician for pica. Other than that, I've typically only worked with people who were aware when something they did wasn't normal. Apparently, having constant upper back pain and muscle tightness is not normal. Before the pain got unbearable, I thought that my family was just predisposed to having back pain. My dad, grandmother, and various other relatives have similar issues. Then I saw a doctor and was told that apparently I had severely injured my back very early in life, which made my muscles spasm so hard that they could not loosen back up without medical intervention. I no longer have such bad upper back pain, and on the upside, my neck/shoulder muscles are swole as all hell now. Well, I'm the patient here, but my doctor was very surprised that I thought everyone takes 2 hours to get to sleep every night. I had assumed for years that my asleep in half an hour parents were the outliers. Great, you made it to the end. Now smash that like button and subscribe for even more videos like this one.